Hello and welcome, my baby elephants splashing around in the blood of your enemies. It's SJB here, and we're talking about the new BTD6 update 37.0. So there's a lot of new stuff here that we need to talk about. First of all, this Yang-Shi Sauda skin looks pretty okay to me. I'm not a huge fan, but you know what? I know a lot of people out there probably freaking love it, you know, if you're into this kind of situation here. With chains and, you know, ghost-like figures and things like that. I mean, yeah, to each their own. Then there's also a new map. It's called Erosion, and as you play through the game, the map slowly, as you might have expected, erodes away, leaving you with more water but less land to play around with. In addition, if you put towers on top of the land, which is probably necessary, they will get sold when that happens. Which is kind of weird and kind of cool at the same time. But I really like the idea. I really like this map. It's kind of a cool concept, but also really sad for little polar bears. Here's a sneak peek of one of my upcoming videos, which I will hopefully get out for you guys soon, but this is about the Magus Perfectus, or Harry, as some people call him. And, he's the new Wizard Paragon, which you guys have probably seen by now, but if you haven't, he's pretty freaking cool. He's got two really awesome looking abilities here, on top of, being kind of weird with a graveyard, who's actually a stylicious a Paragon that you have to play around with and sort of use abilities in a proper way to make him better, and or if you suck with him, make him possibly worse. But of course, my main goal here is to talk to you guys about the balance changes. We want to stay updated about what is changing with the game here and recognize whether or not we should be using more towers, more weird towers that we don't normally use, or maybe just stay away from certain towers that we thought were OP and now frickin' suck. So, we're going to start off with the Moab Assassin. The Moab not the Eliminator, Chris. The Moab Assassin was kind of a weird tower. I completely agree. It doesn't really make sense in most situations, but they decided to make it do something interesting. It now goes through Moab layers. So, if you're allowed to go through a BFB instead of just popping a BFB, and you can do more damage than that, you're going to start hurting these Moabs in addition, which is really cool. So if you end up popping through it, you can kind of go through it and pop even more. In addition, that explosion did center around the middle of the balloon instead of the edge of the balloon, which should help us in popping more balloons if they're grouped up together. Next up, we've got the Blade Shooter, which is actually really interesting. The Blade Shooter had a pierce of 6, and now it has increased to 8. Not too shabby, dude. I don't know if that's going to be a huge difference for us, but it might make it more of a reasonable tower to use, especially if you go for fast shooting or for even more upgrades over here. We'll see how it goes, but as of right now, I do not have an opinion on this one. Freeze it, baby! So, freeze now does not work as good on ceramic balloons. If you notice, that was a really quick freeze. And that kind of makes sense, because ceramics are, like, specifically higher tier balloon than everything else. But making ice towers that much worse? I mean, they're already not that great, but okay. I guess I understand it from random third tiers and stuff like that. Which brings up the fact that all tier 3 ice monkeys increase freeze duration on ceramics from 50% to 100%. So, they did not like that low tier ice towers could somehow be used in some magical way against ceramics when you should be forced to go for a higher tier ice tower. Fair enough, I guess it makes sense, but to each their own. Also, in addition, randomly, we get this really cool icicles thing, where we can now hit camos in particular. Bloon Liquefier is kind of a weird tower because we didn't really like it that much. It was kind of like the, you have to buy it so you can get to the solver. But now it actually does something. It leaves puddles on the ground as well, making the top path glue gunner just that much better, dude. Solver was already freaking ridiculous, but you had to do the jump from these previous upgrades to make him happen. Now you have good upgrades all the way through into the Bloon Solver. This is freaking amazing. If you're not using the Bloon Solver and Bloon Starter Fed 6 these days, you need to. He's really, really, really good. Possibly the craziest change in all of Bloon's Tower Defense 6 updates notes right now is this Cripple Moab. The Cripple Moab damage increased from 80 to 280. What? Specifically, they want you to be able to pop Moab-class balloons in one single hit all the way through up until past round 100, which is kind of interesting, I guess. But you do have to make sure you leave him on strong in that situation, but you will be taking these things down. Now, that should actually do a decent job working our way up into DDTs as well if we have that camp detection here. We can't solo in one shot, but a 2-shot DDT, that's not too shabby for this Cripple Moab. I'll take it. I honestly feel like Digikiwi just likes to mess with me, or mess with everybody, when it comes to the Spectre. They just don't seem to know how to make it right. So, I'm going to read this off for you guys, but just know that everything just kind of doesn't make any sense until you test it out in a real game. So, I'm going to test it out against round, I don't know, let's do round 78 here, and just see how we do against, let's do 81. 81, it's a good round, BFBs and ceramics and everything kind of mixed together. Spectre Dart damage increased from 3 to 4. Ceramic bonus reduced from 2 to 1. Pierce reduced from 15 to 10. Bomb damage increased from 2 to 3. Bomb ceramic bonus reduced from 4 to 3. Bomb pierce reduced from 30 to 20. What does that mean? Who frickin' knows, man? It sounds like it's mostly bad, but some good things in there. Is it better or worse? I couldn't frickin' tell you. We're gonna have to test it out and experiment with it a little bit, but as of playing around 81 right now, it does look like it's not very good. Just to be straight with you, for $20,000, I'm not saying that around 81 should go down easily, but I'm not super pumped about him at the very least. But he's not horrible. Not horrible. Taking on around 81 by himself without losing their lives, so yeah, good enough for me. Ooh, we got some cool heli pilot changes here. If you guys have not seen or played with the heli pilot in a while, because he's been unmeta. He has been unmeta for a long time. Like, you can use the middle path decently, but everything else is just sort of okay. Except for the bottom path. It sucked. Until now. So let's talk about this. First of all, Razor Rotors. Razor Rotors is now going to benefit from the bottom path upgrade here, the faster firing thingamajig. I don't know if you can tell, but it looked like it actually started rotating faster, which is kind of cool. I don't know how much more powerful it's going to be. We're going to have to test it out a little bit, but it looks like it's better. Next up, we got some support Chinook nerfs. All right, so its price reduced from 10,500 to 9,500, so that's a buff. Yeah, cool. But the cash generated reduced from 1,650 to 1,550, which is a little less. Okay, weird changes. Then the max uses per round reduced from 3 to 2. Fair enough. Actually, I wouldn't really call that a nerf. I would call it a balance. It was just an overall balance. And in fact, for some people, that might even be a buff, kind of depending on how you use the support Chinooks, specifically getting to that upgrade. It's a fair price. And the buff we've all been waiting for, Comanche Commander. Missile bonus damage from let's just run 81 as well. This is now a reasonably expensive tower. Keep that in mind. Compare this to a Spectre, all right? This is way more expensive than a Spectre, by the way. Way more expensive, almost double. But the Comanche Commander missile damage from 7 to 15. The Comanche Commander missile Moab bonus from 5 to 8. The mini missile damage from 5 to 15. And the mini missile Moab bonus from 5 to 8. Actually, freaking good. Now, this reminds me a little bit of when BTD6 first came out 5 freaking years ago, by the way. 5 years ago. Absolutely absurd. And this guy was super ridiculously overpowered, mostly because if you alchemized him, all the mini helis got the buff as well. Now, we're taking down 81, and it actually makes sense what we're doing with 81 here compared to a Spectre. I'm definitely excited to test this guy out and see if we can finally use this guy in a real game. Whoa, ho, 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 we got some big, mighty mortar changes for you guys. There's a lot going on here, and I don't know exactly how to like say if it's good or bad or not, but I'm going to just do my best, just based on what I'm reading. So the big one, stun duration on non-Moab damage is increased from 0.5 to 0.75. That's fantastic. I mean, we're great against ceramics now. He was already pretty good against ceramics, but now we're even better. I feel like this is mainly going to help against super ceramics, though, in the 80+ area when you need to be able to actually do something against these guys with stunning power. So, cool on that note. And then we got the biggest one. Huge changes here. So let's send out round, I don't know, 89 or something. Let's just do it. I don't even know what comes out around 89, but this should be good. Biggest one, stun duration. Moab increased from 0.3 to 0.5. BFB increased from 0.2 to 0.3. DDT increased from 0.2 to 0.3. So no matter what, the biggest one is generally stunning Moabs for longer, including DDTs, which is freaking awesome. It means you don't necessarily need the faster reload, and you might want to consider going for that Bernie stuff combo. Just want to throw it out there, guys. It does do a lot of damage, and it does do some extra stunning now. Weirdly enough, they've realized that Heavy Shells sucks balls, or Artillery Battery is too good for what it is. So Heavy Shells got a buff. Attack speed reduced from 1.08 to 0.81, so that's like a 25-ish% bonus right there in attack speed. That's not bad. You can actually see it in action here. And then when you get the Artillery Battery, it basically stays the same speed, even though it got nerfed from the way that it used to be compared to Heavy Shells. But it's basically just the exact same thing. But that's how you have to understand it. And then another really interestingly weird change. Bernie stuff, Signal Flare here, increased by $100. No idea why, but Shattering Shell is now reduced by $100 to make that even out. Okay, fair enough. But the decamo radius reduced from 50 to 43. Okay, so we're reducing this radius for some reason. Possibly forcing us to need to go bigger blast, maybe, instead of faster reload, which kind of makes sense. And then they also made it so the bigger blast also is going to increase the pierce from 5 to 10, making him a more reasonable cross path to go for. Interestingly enough, also, Shattering Shells burns bonus Moab damage plus 5. So not too shabby for Shattering Shells these days, man. This can actually be a reasonably useful tower here. But overall, definite mortar buffs, in my opinion. Overall good things here. The mortar's already a tower that people hate, so why not buff it more and make it more usable? And especially if you're willing to go hardcore on it, make the mortar a tower that everybody wants to use. Okay, really random super monkey change that probably isn't even worth noticing, but I'm going to throw it out there anyways. Sun Temple, now when you change his targeting, the mini avatars will also change their targeting when they spawn. So the next one that spawns here should definitely also be a last, whenever he frickin' spawns here. There he is, he spawned and he's last. Okay, great, cool. I guess that's fun. Okay, I don't want to go too deep here, but I just want to mention Ascended Shadow is now just way freaking better. Way better against camo balloons and gives you automatic camo detection for everybody on the screen. It's sort of like Etienne. Very cool, honestly. Even as a level 1 Paragon, that could be a game changer. Right, Transforming Tonic. Oh, man. Look at this, look at this. So I'm setting it a purple balloon in particular so we don't actually pop it, but I don't know if you guys know this or not, but for a long time, alchemists can always see through walls. For some reason, they're just allowed to see through walls. It's just a base thing about alchemists, but this guy in particular couldn't see through walls for some stupid reason. Now he can. We'll get some cool things changing around here, folks. First of all, the Druid of the Storm. This is an interesting change. He will no longer target, even if you have him on strong here, he will not target tornadoes on the Moab. He'll only target against the strongest balloon that is a ceramic or lower, which is really cool. Definite positive there. I don't know. It's not like a game changer or anything like that, but it really feels like it will help you out in a lot of weird, sticky, stupid situations that might need that help. In addition, we've got the Druid of the Jungle here, which are kind of nerfs, but kind of like make sense. First of all, he's automatically going to turn too strong. That's important for us because now the targeting is going to change, so we can't hit lead balloons automatically without hard thorns, but we'll actually target whatever balloon or he's not supposed to. He's not supposed to hit lead balloons. Is he hitting lead balloons? He's still hitting lead balloons. Interesting. Druid of the Jungle no longer pops lead balloons without the 130 cross path. I'm reading that right now, so that must have not made it into the changes here. Okay, fair enough. So for now, it does work this way, but it shouldn't be popping lead balloons. Avatar of Wrath base Heart of the Thunder attack rate increased from 2.3 to 1.15, making this an actual, very reasonable upgrade to go for in a lot of really weird situations. I mean, this guy's already freaking good, and they're going to buff him even further. I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it any day of the week, dude. Avatar of Wrath, beastly. Look at that thunder go. Heck yeah, dude. Heck yeah. We have some very fair Spike Factory changes. So Spike Balls, pretty fair, pretty reasonable, pretty good. If you haven't used these guys in a while, definitely good for late-game ceramic popping power. But Spiked Mines ended up not being super great against late-game ceramics for some reason. They decided to change this around a little bit. The Pierce has increased from 12 to 20 on the Spiked Mines. The Explosion Pierce reduced from 40 to 30. So we're getting more Pierce but less explosive damage, basically. Also, Spiked Mines damage increased from 1 to 10. Holy crap, dude! That's not bad, dude. Not bad at all. On the other hand, Super Mines explosive damage is Explosion Pierce is gonna remain at 60, but the damage over time is going to be increased from 1,000 to 2,500 on the Super Mines. Kind of ridiculous, but hey, I'll take any little bit we can get here. Very minor thing, but I guess the Monkeyopolis is going to have a base cost of $2,500 at the minimum. I don't really understand this because I thought you needed a banana farm to get the 5th tier. For example, if I sell this guy, I can't buy the 5th tier. So to me, this doesn't make any sense. But I guess the income formula is now going to be increased by $2,500 on the 5th tier. There are a lot of changes here, so please bear with me. The extra large trap reduced cooldown from 5.8 to 4.6. Unbelievably ridiculous. This guy's already pretty solid. The only thing he's weak against is bad balloons. Now he's unbelievably powerful. I feel like Beast Handlers need their own video for the balance changes because they're just kind of absurd. But I'll give you guys the general consensus here is overall, top path, way better. I mean, just everything about them. Great White Shark damage increased, Thrash damage increased, lots of Orca crap going on. Even the Megalodon price reduced from 55 to 45. Megalodon Thrash radius is going to be increased. Everything about them is just better. I really like this change. So the Gyre Falcon, I don't know why, I just find this so funny, but it makes so much sense when you think about it. And I would not have thought of this as an answer here, but it's weird. The Gyre Falcon now does a +1 damage to just regen balloons. So you're gonna notice we're going from a purple, we're skipping the black and white layer, actually skipping the pink layer and going down to a freaking yellow. It's kind of crazy, but hey, I'll take it. And then from a pink down to a green, so we're only doing 2 layers in that sense. That's kind of weird. What happens when I do a rainbow? What's gonna happen here? Down to a black, so we're skipping the zebra, going down to black. Okay, that's only 2. I don't know why the Oh, I guess a purple going down to a yellow makes sense. Okay, never mind. I take it back. It's only 2 layers. And then randomly some Golden Eagle crap going on here. Just generally better. Pierce range increased. Ceramic Pierce penalty reduced from 3 to 1. Max merge bonus now grabs mobs with a Pierce penalty of plus 14. I don't really know what that means, but I'm going to assume that it's a good thing. Now, there are some random hero changes, but I'm not going to go over them because they're not really very important, at least not to me. There are some Gwendolyn changes that you might want to look into, but they generally seem like they're going to be better. So, in that situation, try out Gwendolyn, see if you like her. And then Sai also might be a smidge better. And then, also, I just really quickly wanted to touch on new content coming out in the deep future. So for update 38.0, they're planning on doing some sort of new boss balloon called Phase, a new Brickle hero skin, and a water park map. They're adding more quests to the system for update 39, and again, future, deep future. Who knows how long this is going to take, but 3, 4, 6 months, who knows. Map editor, under construction since last year, so they've been working on this for a long time. And that just sounds really cool. It's something that kind of existed, I think, in like BTD4 or something, but then they just completely got rid of it for a long, long time. Gonna be excited to see if we can do something fun with that. In addition, a new hero, Spirit Walker. No idea what that's going to be, but okay, sounds fun. And then update 40. This is, again, even future. This could be possibly 2024, as ridiculous as that is. New Paragon Monkey sub. Another water Paragon, interesting enough. I have no idea what that guy's going to do, but if we really wanted to imagine it really quickly, it's got to be able to support your heroes in some way, but maybe that doesn't even make sense to do Paragon support action. It's probably going to do something with ability cooldowns, but that's going to be absolutely insane. No idea how that's going to work. Of course, it's got to damage everything that walks on the screen here. Just gotta. And then possibly just make all of your subs just way more powerful in some way. That's the only thing that I can assume, but maybe even affecting other water towers or even all of the towers on the screen. Giving increased pierce and damage to everybody? That would be cool. And then the last thing is they're getting closer to a submission to Xbox and PlayStation for BTD6, which is really, really cool. All awesome things, and I'm really glad that NinjaKiwi is sharing this stuff. I'm sorry that I give NinjaKiwi so much crap sometimes. They are actually a really good gaming company, and I don't say enough good things about them, so I just wanted to shout out NinjaKiwi really quickly and say thank you guys for the awesome update, thank you guys for working hard, and thank you guys for making a freaking great game. And I look forward to playing your game deep into the future. Thank you guys so much, and have a wonderful day.